Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the magnificent Mecha MM-01, and yeah, it's his entire name. And yeah, you can see him there in his truck mode, and we'll go off the side real quick. Look at this big old box he comes in, because yeah, he comes in a big old box. You see there, a nice bit of artwork there, glowing blue eyes and everything. Magnificent Mecha and all that stuff. On the top you got, well, nothing. On the side you have MM-01 on this side. You also have MM-01 on the bottom. You have nothing. On the back of this thing, you got, hey, look, a couple of product shots and big old warnings and a QR code and stuff. Yep, you can see all that stuff. And all it's actually, the thing is, this is a slip cover, so you also have this whole thing. You can see, yeah, it's the black box inside with the, you can see the figure and all that stuff, and again the MM-01 and all that stuff, and that's all the same. And then right here you have the him again, except different and on a stand and all that stuff. It also comes with a big old instruction booklet, which, you know, nice quality paper. And one thing is that because of the way it's printed, it's sometimes difficult to see what they exactly want you to do. And they do kind of gloss over a couple steps, and they don't really tell you everything you really need to know to transform it, I feel. But yeah, I just feel because of the printing, it's mostly kind of a very desaturated with then highlights. I wish instead they just did full color with, like, you know, if they wanted to highlight which parts move, just bright yellow it or something. Other thing that they want to highlight was, hey, look, it's got a whole the internal metal skeleton for everything. So, and also stuff that comes with it and all that. Yeah. All right. Here it is. Magnificent Mecha MM-01. Just, yeah. Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. Yeah, they don't have any weird names for this guy. Just MM-01. It's like, okay. You can see he is a red and blue and white truck. You can see that flat nose truck and everything. I got a nice silver chrome grill there. Not chrome, but yeah, silver grill there. Get some weathering detailing on there. You got those little orange parking lights. Got windshield wipers, which actually do move, as weird as it is. I'm personally not a fan of this, just because what happens is this one is floppy, so tends to move around a lot, annoyingly. You know, you got the you know, mirrors. You got the door picked out and detailing and all that stuff, hatches, and but you got the, yeah, again, the rims there. You can kind of tell just kind of just legs. You know, that's kind of obvious. There's some fuel tanks and stuff right now. You got the smokestacks picked out, and again, the whole kind of messiness back here. You got that trailer hitch, which, yeah, that is compatible with MPP-10, the oversized knockoff of MP-10's trailer. So yeah, that's the thing. But I don't have that, so that's not gonna be a thing. And then, of course, you can see back here, taillights picked out, and that's pretty nice. And the tires are, pretty sure that's rubber, or it's very, very rubberized plastic. And of course, on the bottom, you got some robot bits. And the top is pretty much just red. There you go. He does roll pretty darn well. Yeah, I do like this truck mode a lot. It's actually pretty great. Only thing I would say is, yeah, again, it's got the big old thick back end, which is not correct for a semi-truck, but, you know, it's kind of common in Optimuses. There is some potential this might not actually, this might be, have some DNA in common with MP-10, but no verification on that. But yeah, it's overall pretty good truck. This part's right here is a little messy, but, you know, it's forgivable. I don't really mind that so much. It actually more or less is fine. But yeah, it just has that thing that also only Optimus do, which is just simply that you can just tell those are legs. He has a bunch of accessories, but none of them really work on the truck mode at all. None of them. You can't store them. No, nothing. So I'm not going to talk about the accessories till we get to robot mode. But yeah, he is good and he's big, and yeah, I would love to show you that, but I'm not going to spend. I've looked. It's about to cost me about $80 to $100 just to get the stupid trailer. I'm not spending $100 just to, you know, show a trailer. Silly. But yeah, quick comparison. I think the only real one I can really do, which is MPM-12. Yeah, different shades of red, obviously different sizes. This one also now has the DNA a kit on it, which I wanted to review, but unfortunately that just fell completely through because it was a pain in the butt to get it installed because it was not manufactured. I think I got a defective one or something where the screws didn't want to go in because the plastic wasn't pre-threaded. So fun times. Yeah, you can see very different sizes, and also fun because the DNA can. This guy, he's almost as long, despite being a overall smaller truck. You can get a basic idea, and you can see the differences in what kind of trucks they're going for here. Again, this looks more like MP10's truck mode in the front there. So yeah, there you go. And not a whole lot of to talk about here. It's just a pretty solid truck mode overall, and probably one of the better ones for Bumblebee movie Optimus. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and transform him. And we'll talk about more of the robot mode. All right. So, Magnificent Mecha here, MM-01. Yeah, he's a very, very good looking Bumblebee movie Optimus. In fact, I would myself and many other people would argue that he is pretty much the most accurate non-transform or transforming Bumblebee move, Optimus Period. The only one, period. The only ones that are more accurate are the ones that don't transform, namely the Yellow Park and the 3-0. Which I don't have. Well, I don't have the 3-0 and the Yellow Park still in parks and box. But anyway, yeah, you can see a lot of nice detail here. Looking up real quick, you can see his helmet there. It's got nice etching there. Again, some more weathering there. You can kind of see the yellowing. That's an intentional weathering effect. Nice antenna there. You got some of the detailing here, silver and gray up there. You got the windows, and unfortunately that really loose thing, and a lot of the little mechanical detailing in the abdomen. Again, on the arms, you got all that mechanical detailing, that little cylinder, and the silver thighs, and the blue, all that stuff, and the wheels, and yeah, all of that is there, and that kind of misaligned, and didn't actually put those on all the way. But anyway, yeah, got his little spine thing, all that. You got his smokestacks and his little fins, and all of that is here as it's supposed to be. Now, the thing about this guy is also he is kind of tall. He is a fairly large figure, as you saw. Comparing him against the MPM, he is significantly larger. Yeah, so he is quite a tall. Again, I believe he is actually slightly taller than the 3-0. Again, I can't confirm myself, but I've seen some comparison shots online. I believe that is the case. When it comes to accessories, I actually kind of lied earlier. I said none of the accessories worked for the truck mode, except for two. I completely forgot were in the box because I kind of put them off to the side, and well, it is these. These are straight smokestacks, because you see the ones he has are bent, right? Now, these are also thicker smokestacks, and these come out pretty easily, but these do not go in very easily at all. In fact, that's as far as I can go before I kind of encounter a lot more resistance than I feel comfortable with. So, considering these are actually kind of on the looser side, I would very much strongly recommend, if you're going to use these straight smokestacks, shave this down. Just kind of start shaving down around this cylinder right here, because that is a very tight fit, and I've seen people kind of say, well, I can't get this smokestack out anymore. It's stuck. I completely forgot about them because I declared them as useless and kind of put them off to the side and forgot. So yeah, you can use these as replacements. You can see them. They got nice, they got the angled cutouts and everything, but very much shave down the part that pegs in before you try to peg it in, because otherwise you're going to have a trouble. So just a little bit at a time until it starts doing test fits, until eventually it starts going in nice and smooth without being too loose. Yeah, just know that these are too tight. Yeah, I completely forgot about those until I just kind of popped in my head. Now the other thing he has as accessories are all, well, he's got his gun, which is pretty neat, nice and silvery gunmetal type of thing. Nicely detailed, you can see all that. Got a little spike there and the rails and all that stuff. Cool thing also is the magazine can come out, and you got a bullet, which is unusual to say the least, because, well, I thought this fired energy, but whatever, it's got that picked out, so that's kind of neat. And slot that. It doesn't light up or anything as far as I can tell. There's no battery compartment or any of that. It's just a gun. Now, the thing is, you can see his hands are closed fists, and they do not articulate at all, because he comes with a bunch of extra hands. Now, he's got his closed fist hands there. He's got a set of splayed hands. He's got a set of pointing hands with 2 fingers, because that's just how he does things apparently, and a set of gun gripping hands. This hand swap's pretty easy for the most part. You can just go ahead and just pop them off the ball joint, and also know the ball joint is on a hinge here, so you got to be careful about that, and pop the new one on. They are tight the first few times you do it. So yeah, so you can have that. The only thing is, you can only transform them with the closed fist hands and nothing else. The other thing is, the gun gripping hands are scary, because this is not bendable plastic, and they don't flex at all, and yeah, you can get that in there, but if you want the finger in the trigger guard, you're going to have to do some bending, and that is scary. I did it before, and I managed to get it off again, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm almost certain if you do that too much, it's going to eventually, the finger is going to snap off. So yeah, you can do that, but it's on there pretty good, and that's not gonna come off anytime soon without a lot of. I had to use tools. I had to use a screwdriver to, you know, push that through, pull this off. And because there's an upgrade kit coming with articulated hands, that's extra annoying that they did that like that. If you think at the very least, you know, maybe the hand would come apart or the finger, at least that finger would have a hinge in it just so you could do that. But nope, you got to squeeze it and hope that it doesn't break. So yeah, just an FYI on that. You know, you can get some pretty decent poses, you know, if you want to with the finger pointing and all that stuff. So yep, that's all but one of the accessories, and there comes the most useless one I feel, which is big old display stand. You can see it's a gunmetal gray display stand, and that's it. There's no lights, there's no armature, there's nothing. It's just it's a base. Use a base. You plop them on. I feel that's kind of honestly just a waste of money. I don't really care for this. I wish it wasn't included. I probably could shave like 20 bucks off the price if they didn't include this, but they included it. It's hunk of plastic. I'm never going to use it, but it's there. Yay. If it had a standard, like, you know, an actual armature or something on it for the poses, then that'd be much better, but it just doesn't, and that kind of sucks. Yeah, one last thing, of course, is actually in here. There are electronics in the head. Yep, LEDs. And then you get that to that by just pulling up on this bit right here. Get that stupid thing off. There we go. Yeah, right. I pull up the top on the top of the head right there, and then you can see the electronics, which, yep, 2 batteries, 2 button cell batteries. Takes 2 LR44s, at least according to the box, because on this, at least for me, they're kind of, it's a tight fit for 2 LR44. So I'm not sure if LR44 is a misprint or what, but they do fit and they do work. So, but barely, they do barely fit. Yeah, it's a easy swap, and plug that on. Make sure that's all the way down, and then, yeah, to activate it, you just press in that, and you have to push it in pretty hard, but yeah, you can see they do light up. The eyes do light up, and yeah, you just, mine I have to kind of press it kind of hard before it actually works, but it does work. Another thing I want to mention, because speaking of the head, a lot of people, particularly the first batch, apparently got ones with broken antenna, broken or bent. On mine, I think they might have done, I'm not sure if they're doing this at factory, if stores are doing it, but they're now packing the head separately in a baggie, because that way it's protected, because what's happening is it's banging around the clamshell, and the head antenna are hitting the clamshell over and over again, eventually just wearing them down and snapping them. So be careful with the antenna, but hopefully yours isn't, you know, broken. It's also easy head swap, because, well, they're sending the upgrade kit will have a replacement head, because the upgrade kit's coming. Apparently it's going to be like $80 or something like that. So like, that's kind of spendy, but it comes with a big old axe and swords and new posable hands and Cybertronian parts, which is cool, because this is Earth mode. And the Cybertronian parts, some of which will be pretty easy, because like, hey, it's like that's one of the things that's going to come off with their Cybertronian parts. That's a magnet. Going to this, that's going to be the shoulders, and these shoulder pieces will be replaced. That's piece replaced, and there's little plug-on things for the rims here to make them look more Cybertronian. And again, new head as well. I think the new head almost looks identical. I'm not sure if there's any real difference. We'll see when that comes out, because I'm probably going ahead and get it anyway, even though it's a little spendy. But anyway, articulation. Head. Ball joint, as you saw, so you got lots of range, left and right, up and down, and all sorts of waggle, and it's now a nice cut, so it's, you know, you get the out range. Shoulders are kind of weird, so, you know, forward and back is, you know, pretty straightforward for the most part. You know, forward and back, you know, do full 360 there, but outward is where things get a little odd, because you got that, and you can see the way the shoulders are. It likes kind of, when you get a full extension, it looks a little off, because you just see that bar sticking out from, again, that's the whole internal metal skeleton they keep bragging about. So you got that whole thing going on. So it looks a little odd, because you got that, but is a thing you can do, and also that this can jut out and move as you need it to. You got a bicep swivel, which is nice. You got a second swivel down here below the elbow, which can help some poses. You got an elbow bend, although at the wrong point. It's supposed to bend here. This both thing is supposed to bend, you know, kind of click inward, but it doesn't, because a lot of people misinterpret it as where his elbows are, but whatever. Yeah, the elbow's only 90 degrees, which is a little disappointing for a figure like this, considering the degree of the rest of his posability, but I can live with it. Hands, you can see, are ball jointed. So you got, you know, twist, you know, swivel, and a lot of rotation, and because that was also the hinge of the base of the ball joint, so you got inward as well. You got all that. Coming down here a bit, you have a waist swivel, although if you have these, you have to be careful with the hip skirts, because sometimes they can set up in such a way that they get in the way of it, but if you move them out of the way the right way, you can have pretty much unhindered waist full 360. And speaking of, yeah, you can see those hip skirts getting out of the way and stuff. And of course, ab crunch, which works pretty well. Get that much range. Yeah, pretty much as much range before I feel like that's, you know, things are starting to creak. Hips are a little off. Well, not off, but weird. Again, the hip skirts, again, can kind of get out of the way. They don't get out that much out of the way. Fortunately, they only go so far before they kind of start banging into stuff. And they got the side skirts as well. Can get out of the way. And you got that, which can only go that far back. But, so you got forward there. And it goes about that far or so. But there's a clicky lowering joint. You know, it's one of those. You know, there's a joint in here that lowers the hip. You can see that. And that gives you a little bit more range. Just a hair, but a little bit more. And the weird thing is that is also the only ratchet joint on the whole thing. This clicky thing for the hips. And also be careful when bringing it up. You don't want to get caught on that. So yeah, you can get, you know, that, so you can get that much forward. Backwards, you get, if you have it down, you got that much. If you have it up still, you get pretty much nothing, almost nothing. But if you bring it down, you get quite a bit of back. Outward, you get that much. Almost the full splits, just shy of the full splits, unless maybe, yeah, you can get more than full splits if you lower the leg at that. So again, that's a very useful joint. Thigh swivels, unfortunately, that's about it. That's all you get. Because of the sculpting, that's all the range you get on the thighs. Knees, though, double jointed, you know, nice bit of range. And on top of that, you can see stuff revealing itself as it bends, which is really cool. I like that. And down here at the feet, you have ankles, you know, go forward and back, or side to side, forward and back, a little tiny bit, not a whole lot. Got a bit of pivot, although that, if you pivot too far, it tends to do that. Back here, you got this weird thing, which is, you know, that's just, I guess, stylish, but yeah, you can do that. So yeah, posability is mostly really good. It's just the limited elbows and thighs kind of really let it down a bit. That's the only thing I would say really is a problem with it. And the shoulders are just kind of weird in general. Oh yeah, I forgot, because of, I almost forgot, speaking of shoulders, thanks to the transformation stuff, you do also have a significant amount of multiple joints here for biceps, or not bicep, but butterfly jointing. So you can get his shoulders back pretty far, and also forward pretty good. You just kind of have to, don't have a whole lot, mind you, but you have a bit. So that can help with some poses too. So there you go. That is posability. So, real quick comparison though. I only got really one to do because I don't have 3.0. Yellow Park one is in a box still, not built yet, and that's going to be a bit. Also in the Yellow Park video, you'll see this guy compared. But here he is with the MPM-12 with the DNA upgrade kit. Which, yeah, so he's a bit taller than the stock one, I believe, by about that much. Yeah, I think he's only a smidge taller, but you can see significant size difference. Still, you know, overall, so you can kind of see the general aesthetics are pretty much the same. The only thing is, yeah, this one is definitely done on more of a budget. You can see here on the back end, yeah, difference back there. You can see definite difference back there. See difference in the arms and shoulders and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's the thing. So should you get this guy? Well, a couple things. I very much enjoy this thing for sure. It is on the larger side. If you are a scale junkie, and you're doing Masterpiece, this thing's going to be too big. Simple. Let's just simply put, this thing's going to be too big. It is not Masterpiece scale for sure. Now, if you've been buying the 3.0 and a lot of the third-party stuff that's like following that scale, then this guy's going to fit right in, I feel. So, yeah, so like there's been a wave of third-party guys who are all following the 3.0 scale. So this thing will fit right in, and it transforms, which is real nice. Speaking of transformation, the transformation itself is actually mostly pretty clever and well thought out, but I would say the arms can be really annoying to get plugged into the, moving them out of the truck or into the truck mode. Moving the arms in the right position can be really annoying, and the side panels of the truck mode can also be really annoying. And those are the only two spots I feel like are a bit problematic. Yeah. The only two parts I feel are a bit problematic. Everything else actually works pretty well for the most part. The only thing I was saying was I feel like the clearance for the head going into transforming is a little sketch, and there's a couple of spots where it's like you're pushing, as far as I can tell, you're just pushing past other parts, and it's a little scary. For the most part, it's overall well thought out, although again, it might be because it's based on MP10 and heavily modified, so that's a thing. Because supposedly this might be the same guys who did the Fire Scorpion version, which I found to be kind of ugly because the chest was weird. I found the whole torso just kind of weird on that one. And that was also based on MP10. So it might be the same guys. I'm not sure. I can't confirm that. But which means technically this is a knockoff of MP10. But we're kind of at that point of how much engineering does it actually share with that thing, if it is. In the robot mode, of course, again, like I said, the robot mode is the single most accurate looking transforming Bumblebee movie Optimus so far I have seen. None have gotten as close to this thing. The only thing would be I think the only real flaw would be how the elbows bend does not match how they're supposed to bend. And the shoulders can look a little weird, but that's because it's how they did everything. So, yeah, if your thing is screen accuracy, this is going to be a big deal. Now, the only other thing is simply he is $250 or thereabouts. You might get him a little cheaper, but pretty much that's where you're going to find him, is around about $250. That is the thing about him, is just simply he's expensive. $250 is not a cheap figure. He's a big figure and he's worth it. And the other thing is he also got a bit of a waiting list as of right now, because I got mine part of the second batch. Right now they're taking pre-orders for stores are taking pre-orders for the third batch, which is supposedly going to be out in December, but we'll see, because this guy was supposed to be out in June and didn't show up till September. But yeah, I think it's worth it. But at the same time, if that's a lot of money and you're kind of uncomfortable spending that much on a figure like this, I would still say MPM-12 is at half the price still a pretty good figure, but it is, not as good as this one. This one just is going to cost you more, but that's definitely for a more budget conscious person who wants a Bumblebee movie Optimus. Of course, if you're really budget conscious, you probably bought the Studio Series or the Perfect Finish one. But anyway, if you just want to, yeah. So this is like, I think, no holds barred. Money's not a problem. This is your best bet. If money still is a bit of an issue, I would say MPM-12 is a better bet. If you kind of don't want to spend over $200 on this guy. And of course, there are technically both the Yellow Park and the 3.0 are cheaper, but they also, again, don't transform. So that's where all this is that thing. I would say, honestly, if your whole thing is you're never going to transform, it's all you're going to be robot mode, I would say just go for the 3.0 one. You'd not be disappointed, I think. Or maybe Yellow Park if you want to build it. But if you want it to be able to transform, this is a really good figure, and I think really worth it. It's worth the money, but it is a lot of it. So just know that. So yeah, it's expensive but worth it in my opinion. So yeah, get him if you have the funds and patience, because you're going to be on a waiting list. So That's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe. But check out my Twitter. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and check out my Ko-fi and my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.